All right, everyone, here we are with ticker symbol OCGN, Ocugen Inc. And before we jump into this chart, I want to say welcome to all the first-time viewers and investors. Welcome to the channel, Invest for Tomorrow. To all the subscribers, welcome back. And as we dive into this chart, I want every single investor and viewer to be aware that I have a ticker symbol you won't want to miss towards the end of this video. And I want to quickly announce that I have a Patreon now. The link is down below in the description. By clicking on it, you will be redirected over to the page and you will see everything there is to offer by joining the private community on Patreon. So here we are with Ocugen Inc. Let's kind of move this back to where they were previously to as where I moved them now for today's resistance and support. But when you look at that, yesterday's resistance and support kind of just kept itself in a sideways movement, not a lot of movement. Now, I talked about in previous videos, we want to watch carefully how this stock is reacting. How quickly is it moving to newer lows, or is it going to just sit sideways, right? So it's been doing the effect that I talked about. So it's had consolidation here for a few days, and then I stated if it wasn't going to be a few days, it was going to be a few weeks, and it looks like it's doing this. Now, this took from the beginning of January all the way to the beginning of February. This was 4 weeks. Now, where we're at here, this is almost just a week and a half. And there's been a lot of up and down, but when you zoom in, you can kind of see at this point right here, at this type of focus, you can see that sideways movement kind of been sitting around this area, not going any lower than $9, not going any higher than $12, $13, kind of just sitting in the same area. And right now, more than ever, it's been consolidating in that $10 to $11 area. Now, I've talked about this in a previous video, and I'm announcing it because the date is coming up. And Ocugen has filed for this, and this is not definitive yet. They're trying to go ahead and come to the agreement. We're going to know probably by February 22nd. That means that's on Monday or sometime in the beginning of the week. And it might have an effect on the stock that week temporarily, and then leading up to the 16th, once they make the vote, it might affect it in the next month or so. So I want investors to be aware and prepared and not get caught by surprise. So what's going on here? So what they plan on doing is increasing the number of authorized shares of common stock from 200 million to 295. Now, could that be a good thing? Well, long term, if there are more buyers, right, and the stock is being bought more than sold, in the long term, that is going to allow the stock to increase in price and have more room for growth. But in the short term, it might have some effect on the stock downwards. So I want investors to be aware of that. So they're planning on increasing the stock amount of authorized shares of common stock, and they're going to do this meeting on March 16th, but they're going to announce it February 22nd. You can see how Ocugen intends to release definitive copies of this proxy statement to security holders on or about February 22nd. So we might see news on this over the weekend or sometime the beginning of next week, and we're going to have to watch the stock, how it reacts, and I don't want investors to be caught by surprise. So things are way too quiet and way too calm here with Ocugen, but it's because volume has gone down as well. There's a lot of investors just holding, hoping, or even loading up on the dips to buy as many as they can for the long term, because we already saw how high it could go. We saw how low it can go. There was an offering. Offerings usually mean that there's, opportunity for this to run right back up. But so far, it's kind of been stagnant, and I think it's because of this information. And once it releases, we need to watch how it's going to react next week and the next following 2 weeks leading up to March 16th, which is the date of the vote. And if it passes, what does it mean for the stock, right? So let's go ahead and see here the 50-day moving average. 1027. We're in 1038 right now. Anything above it, bullish. Anything below it, bearish. Our support is at this point, and that is 1013. If that gets broken through, you want to watch carefully how this is reacting. How quickly is it moving to newer lows? And are the bulls trying to reappear and bring it back up? Now, our resistance is one of the highest points reached in the day And with all this volatility spiking up and down, spiking back up, down, and trying to fight back upwards, this resistance level is significant because it needs to be broken through, because we're in tug of war zone. Between the 50-day moving average, the bulls and the bears, we're in tug of war zone. And for the bulls to gain some leverage and have some type of momentum, they need to pull upwards, break through 1057 to pull further away from the 50-day moving average and the resistance level, to then bounce off, use it as support to reach newer highs and new resistance levels. As always, if you found this video helpful and informative, please do so and subscribe. Don't forget to click on the bell to turn on all notifications and not miss a single video that I post. Share this with your friends and community, and don't forget to hit the like button to let me know you watch this video. Stay tuned to the end because I have a ticker symbol you won't want to miss, and you definitely want to add it to your watch list. So for everyone that has made it to this point in the video, the ticker symbol I'm about to share with you guys is from the energy sector. We've talked about it several times in the past, coming weeks leading up to this point, and I really want us to touch base on it one more time before this week ends and the next week starts. And also, I want more investors and viewers, especially the new ones coming across the channel, to be aware of this one, because a lot of people may be overlooking this one, and there's so much value and potential moving forward. Now we're going to dive into its chart, but before we talk about everything about it, I want every single investor and viewer to be aware that I have a Patreon now. The Patreon link is down below in the description. If you click on it, you will be redirected and you will see everything there is to offer so far. But I am going to further develop it over time. It's just getting started. It's 3 days old. So for those of you that are interested on knowing about ticker symbols before I talk about them anywhere else, you will be able to find that information on Patreon. The link is down below. So let's go ahead and talk about the ticker symbol you want to add to your watch list if you haven't already. CLNE, Clean Energy Fuels Corporation. Now, I had an investor talk about this stock and tell me, hey, how do you feel about this one? So it was either an investor that hadn't had the chance to see any of the times I've talked about it, or they were a new viewer coming across the channel. So I talked about it back here, okay? Like $9, almost 10. I talked about if we had a pullback, it'd be an even bigger opportunity. And if it didn't, you know, you want to watch for consolidation or a run up and confirmation. So it did run up. It pulled right back down. I talked about it again here. It's looking like an opportunity. You want to see some consolidation. It certainly did that for a few days, and it started to run, consolidate, and run all the way up. Now, it's pulling back down. Now, the lowest point that it reached recently was like $14, okay? That was yesterday. So yesterday was a pretty tough day on the market. The market ran up and pulled right back down here for this one again. So why am I telling you guys to add this to your watch list? Well, if you've been in it since this point, or you've been watching it since this point, you know, these are opportunities because we already know how high it can go. And if you believe in the company, you've done your due diligence, you've done your research, and you want to make a rational decision based off of what you found, you know, these are the times to tune in on this one. And if you haven't had the opportunity, you know, I mean, this stock, all it's done is run up. So yes, the pullback is pretty strong. And just as much as it ran up from $12 to $20, it's already losing that gain. As long as it doesn't break through $12 or even $10, I think this stock is going to show some type of strength, but you want to watch it carefully. But so far, anywhere since we've talked about it, it's been holding up strong. All this movement, it's normal. It's bound to happen. You know, stocks go up and down. But in the long term, you know, you want to look for stocks that continue to aim to hit newer highs. So I definitely recommend doing deeper due diligence on this one if you don't know much about it. And for the investors that have been watching it since we've talked about it, how do you feel about it? What do you think? You think this is a temporary pullback? Do you think this will end up back at $10? Or do you think this can hold up and consolidate anywhere around here or even around this area, which is a little bit lower, but not end up back around here, like stay above that and then kind of consolidate till the next catalyst? What do you guys think? That's a question for all the investors that have been watching it since $10 and since we talked about it again at $10. How do you guys feel about this? And if you're coming across this for the first time, I definitely recommend digging deep into the company, all the information on it, and how this stock actually has reached from here to here to understand a little bit more of what's going on and why this stock has so much potential. As always, guys, thank you guys so much for watching, and let's make some money.